Station 1370 WOCA. Ocala.
All right, 25 minutes before 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. I wanted to introduce our next guest by bringing up a story that I saw on a video on the internet. I have never watched the TV show called Shark Tank. I know it's a pretty popular show, but for some reason, I think it might have been... it was either Godvine or one of those websites that is a Christian-based website site. I guess it was a redundancy, wasn't it? But anyway, there was a farmer who went on to Shark Tank. If you've never seen Shark Tank, just real quickly, the gist of the show is that there are money people there and people who have these ideas or these inventions, and they try to persuade the money people to invest in their ideas and or inventions, okay? Mm-hmm. So there was a farmer. I looked it up so I would remember his name. His name was Johnny Georges. He is a farmer, and he had an idea, and he brought it to the Shark Tank guys, and basically they made fun of him because he didn't want to make his profit like 300 or 400%, whatever they thought it should be.
Oh my gosh!
And he was happy with it being just a few dollars profit per whatever he had invented. I can't remember what he invented I think a thing to keep water on each individual plant. Anyway, that's not important.
Oh, okay.
The important thing is his resistance to the suggestion that he have a 500% profit or something like that was what got everybody's attention, because he said, I'm going to be selling these to other farmers. They can't afford that. They have to have something affordable, and I'm okay with making just a small profit. And they were like all over him, making him feel bad. But one of the guys, I believe one of the Shark Tank guys, did step forward and say, you know what, I like your philosophy and the way you live. I've often thought that that's what we need. If we had people who just said, you know what, I don't need a lot, I just need a little. So here's my ear of corn. It cost me, a quarter to grow this ear of corn, and I'll sell it to you for 30 cents. I'll make a nickel.
Yeah.
If we lived that way, then we wouldn't have extraordinary gasoline prices. We wouldn't have extraordinary healthcare prices. We wouldn't have any of that. And in our world, Robin, when we try to do this, we end up hurting ourselves.
Yeah.
We do the same thing in a way, but we ask for a very little profit. So I don't know where the line should be drawn. John Horvat II is on the phone. He has a book that really will make you think about what we need to be doing in this country and in the world. The book is called Return to Order: From a Frenzied Economy to an Organic Christian Society. The subtitle, Where We've Been, How We Got Here, and Where We Need to Go. Just to give you a background on John before we say hello to him, he's a socioeconomics scholar, he's an educator, he's a researcher, he's a well-in-demand speaker, he's a contributor to the Wall Street Journal, Fox News, the Christian Post, the Washington Times, ABC News, C-SPAN, and such an honor to have him on the show. I believe this is a return visit for John. Am I right?
Yes.
Am I right? And then... oh gosh, there's something else too I want to bring up to his attention as well. But let us say hi to him first. Good morning, John. How you doing?
Morning. Great to be back.
Where are you?
I'm up in Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
Near Gettysburg.
So, how did I do with the intro? Is it even close to what we want to talk about? Not really.
Not really, but it's great. No, I think it's great. I really enjoyed your story about the farmer because. That is what we need. We need to bring back the human element back into economy and culture that, many times just ignores it, especially from the point of view of money, just making money the primary concern. That's not.
That it's not, yeah. Well, we had a guy on here who owned a brothel. And,
yes.
I mean, and he was all over the place about legalizing prostitution, how it doesn't hurt anybody. And I said, well, wouldn't that make our daughters have this as a career option? I mean, wouldn't that be a horrible thing in that regard? Oh no, he was so sure it was the best thing, and it would bring in money, and I don't know where the world is going. It just to me seems so contrary to what we should be thinking, what we should be saying.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just it's unimaginable something like that because so many times people think, well, it doesn't hurt anyone, but they forget that we are social beings. Most of the things we do have some type of repercussion on others, and it's this extreme individualism that says, well, I'm the center of the world, and everybody should just pretty much adjust accordingly.
Did we, in the beginnings of this country, or at any time on planet Earth, maybe not on this country, but it seems like in the beginnings we had this very more level-headed way of doing business with one another. I'm going to put the shoes on your horse, and thanks for the extra dime. And I can go to the store and take that dime and buy a loaf of bread, and the guy who made the bread gets an extra penny because of it. That's his profit. I mean, am I wrong about that? Did we have that world at one time?
Oh, definitely. I think we definitely did, and a lot of what contributed to let's say, this mechanization of economy was the Industrial Revolution. I'm not against industry or technology, but the pace of and the speed in which these things happened, and the need to just rationalize everything, make it according to a machine and not a person. That's what did it. But we did have that. Even today, some of the relationships that exist inside business and small business, where people take care of others, it's human. It's a very human thing to happen, and it does happen, but not nearly as much as it used to.
Why does everything seem to go out of control?
Well, I mean, it is a part of our modern economy and culture. To say what I call frenetic intemperance, where you just it's the desire to have everything instantly, regardless of the consequences. And we see this a lot in our lifestyles and our gadgetry, and just I have to have it, and it's a self-feeding thing. I have to have it faster, and it just keeps going. And we've seen over the last decades, how the pace of life is really just incredibly much faster.
One of the things in the book that caught my attention, that resonated with me, was a quote from Saint John Bosco. And he's talking about his fear as to whether he's charging the amount that God thinks he should charge for something.
Right. That was the story of a blacksmith who was a donor of his. And the blacksmith said, I do a job and then I charge for it. And I wonder, when I write it down in my book, when God's up there writing it down as his book, if my price is higher than his. And so I normally just cut it down a bit, just to be sure, just to err on the side of prudence. And so that's what I charge. And he was still a very prosperous blacksmith. He didn't have to do that, but he wanted to be sure that he was completely just. And that's the kind of thing that really makes an economy great, when you have those type of people who worry about those issues and not just say, well, I'll just take all the money I can.
Does the Bible specifically give us instructions on how to run an economy?
Oh yeah, I'm sure. No, there is. There's a lot of things that are involved, and well, I mean, the Ten Commandments are a great start. Once you start doing that, you start thinking in terms of not stealing, of not lying. I mean, those are the basics to build trust, which allow for a good economy. But I mean, it's amazing. One of the sources of when I was doing research for the book about economy, I found a Norwegian professor who wasn't a Catholic, and as I am, and who did a study of what they called confessional manuals, and these were the spiritual advice that priests would give to penitents. And he studied 90 of these that were written during the Middle Ages. And a lot of the sinners coming in were merchants, and they had very concrete questions about how to justly deal with other people. And so this author just said, well, this is he developed the whole doctrine of how they dealt with these issues and all the guidelines that were given. It was a very fascinating thing to see, how people cared about the moral problems as well as the commercial problems.
When a person is told that they need to tithe 10%, do you tithe 10% to your church and then do more monies in addition to that to different organizations in town that need monies, or does that 10% encompass everything?
Well, like all charity, if it's really charity, it's voluntary. And so, if if you hold yourself to a rigid amount, it should be given freely. So I do tithe to my church, and I try, and when there an occasion arises that I'm moved to give, I give to that. It's not a rigid thing, nor should it be. I mean, it should be something it's very voluntary. It comes from the heart, and that's what real charity is.
When we look at somebody like Donald Trump, who's considering our vote for the presidency, and you realize this is a businessman. The one thing I said, and I don't know if you're going to agree, and I'm not trying to make this a political thing nor about Trump, but he made much of his money from pricing things that he bought for more than he bought them for. But of course he fixed them up too, and those would be the real estate property. But he also made money from casinos, and casinos are designed to be very attractive, and everybody knows you're going to lose money, or you're likely to lose money, but it's kind of a trap. And in a way, I was wondering, and I'm not anti-Trump, nor am I trying to pitch for him. I'm just saying that when you look at what a person has done as a way to make money, you have to wonder if there's something in that fabric of his personality that we need to be aware of.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is definitely the way you make your money, it has to be a moral way of doing it. It has to be a way that they're not ill-gotten gains. That's part of the whole idea of justice and economy. And gambling, I mean, especially modern gambling, I just did an article about that, and there was a book that said that these machines are so technically advanced that some of these slot machines have face recognition software, and they will get the face of the person and know that this is his favorite machine. And as the person goes to the exit will recognize the face, and the machine will call out the name of the person to come back.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Makes sense to me, though.
You have to question the morality of something like that. I mean, it's just too much.
So you're in Pennsylvania, and I don't know really much about the Amish folks, but are they isolated from the rest of us as far as their economy? Are they doing it right, and can we learn something from the way they do it?
They're definitely, they're an organic society. They definitely have a lot of that, and they're some of the best farmers in the country because they know how to value land, and they buy very good land, and their crops are compatible with modern chemical and fertilizer and all that. But I mean, I don't think they've succeeded in actually isolating themselves from society in general, because they do suffer from a lot of the same problems of drugs, of violence. It's not all that it's cut out to be. We live nearby Lancaster, which is sort of the capital of the whole Amish thing, and so there definitely are problems. I don't think they've succeeded in doing everything right because they're in the modern world. The modern world influences them as well.
When we come back, I want to kind of be more fair to the book than we've been. We've kind of just been picking your brain so far. So we'll come back and kind of get some of the things you outline in the book as far as how we can maybe get back to a place where we have order. I don't know. And again, I always look at the world two different ways. There's the world, and then there's my world. And I can't change the world. I can only change my world. And so we'll talk about whether I can actually change the world by changing my world. We'll take a tiny break. Let's see, what do I have? I have a minute, about a minute. So we'll take about a minute break, and we'll be right back.
That's great.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Sunshine mixing with clouds today with a thunderstorm around this afternoon. The high today, 88 to 92. A thunderstorm this evening, partly cloudy overnight, low 70 to 74. Tomorrow, sun and some clouds. There can be a thunderstorm around, especially in the afternoon across the interior. The high, 89 to 93. And for Friday, partly sunny with a shower or thunderstorm, high 90 to 94. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
La Famiglia Pizzeria has moved into Ocala. Stop by today at 2504 Southeast 17th Street and see for yourself what everyone is talking about.
Awesome place. I never get pizza anywhere else.
Great New York-style pizza and dishes.
Best pizza in Ocala.
One trip and you'll agree, La Famiglia Pizzeria is the best. La Famiglia Pizzeria. Stop by for a pizza that you'll love or call in and order yours for pickup. 352-245-2419. La Famiglia Pizzeria.
All right, John Horvat II is on the phone. The book is called Return to Order, From a Frenzied Economy to an Organic Christian Society. The book has won 9 awards. It says right on the cover where we've been, how we got here, and where we need to go. All right, let's be more fair to the book so that the listeners know what's in the book exactly. John, the notes that were sent to me wanted me to ask you about the legalization of drugs. Is that just a small part of the book?
No, the book really doesn't deal with that specifically. It just says, the notes there just talk about an application of something in the book, in the book, the frenetic intemperance that I was talking about before. But it's really not part of the book.
That's what I wondered about. Okay, I didn't pick up on that either.
Sometimes you could go off script, no problem.
Sometimes my notes are confusing to me because I'm not really sure why the notes say one thing when I got something totally different from the book.
Right.
Although I guess I could see the point of what it's trying to say. So what are we doing wrong? When did we start doing something wrong? And are we doing everything wrong?
No, I don't think we're doing everything wrong. I think there's definitely hope, and I would mention 2 things. I think there is a backlash of people who don't like this type of frenzied economy, and are looking for solutions and actually finding solutions. A lot of niche markets and people of wineries, microbreweries. I think is just incredible. They something like 40 years ago there were 60 breweries in the country, industrial breweries, and they used to make pretty bad beer. And now we have something like 3,500 of these places, and they're making a lot of them are making very, very, very good beer, and it has a lot of character and has that's what people want. So you see a lot of a backlash of people that are getting involved in cheeses and wines and bourbons and just these little things that allow the person to express themselves in the economy and not just be part of a machine of sorts. So I think there are those niche markets. And I would even mention talk radio. I mean, it is something that just came out of the blue because there wasn't too much going on before that.
It's very organic. I mean, if you think about it, we're just chatting the way we would do over a coffee table, but we're allowing people to listen in on it and to join in on it if they want to.
And everybody it's a relationship. It's really great. It's not just the national news coming out of Washington or New York City. It's something that's just local, and you can talk about local things, and people like it. I mean, it's great.
Yeah. And in another way, Robin and I do music, and we have decided to not use amplifiers, to just do acoustic music and give a little ambiance to a room. It's not about doing a show. It's about giving something to the people in that place. And that's, to me, that's...
there are a lot of things like that out there. I mean, it's amazing. You see it, and you gave a very good example. I mean, it's people, it's a backlash, and I think it's very important.
So that as opposed to, I guess, the big machine things. But the big machine thing, it's very hard to argue with success when somebody has, you go on you're in your canoe, and you have to avoid the wake of the $6 million yacht.
Yes.
And you say, I can't even afford a John boat, let alone a yacht.
Yeah, right.
Right. I think that's pretty. I think the second component of that is that the world economy is in bad straits, and these huge solutions really aren't solutions anymore. They're really falling into major problems, and I think we're going to need to look to return to order and to find solutions for that, as time goes on, because there are major problems in world economy and the way it's working out.
And people need to move forward. We just can't keep holding on to events and different elements that happened in the past. I mean, people need to move forward, and they need to recognize people that are able to be contributors to improving everything instead of them thinking they can do it all themselves.
Right. Oh, for sure. I mean, it's amazing the potential of people. When you if you're in education or something like that, you just become amazed if they're allowed to and they're encouraged to go ahead, they will.
Habitat for Humanity is a great example of an organization that I think has an economy within their organization that does it right. They don't charge interest for their loans. They do other things to help raise money. But I'm wondering if that example could be used in the big world, in the rest of the world. I mean, how would a bank even exist if they didn't have interest on their loans?
Right. I mean, there are certain. The whole thing of interest is a question that is very debated, and there are certain what they call just titles, intrinsic titles, extrinsic titles to interest that are moral and can be justified. So it's not as if all interest needs to be abolished, but I think the emphasis today is so much on just getting your loans and getting it now, and just you have to have this loan, you have to have this, you have to have that. Whereas before, persons learn to delay their gratification, and that is certainly a much more healthy model than the one we have today.
Do you know the story in the Bible when Jesus turns over the tables and he's upset? He says, "You've made my temple a den of thieves." Mm-hmm. I don't know how much profit those guys were making on whatever they were selling.
Yeah.
But I often wondered. I mean, is Jesus even okay with any profit? I mean, is he okay with us working and selling whatever we've made for a little bit more than it cost us to make it?
Yeah, there's a whole theory, what they call just price theory and just wage theory, and that a just price. There are a lot of factors that enter into it, and some of it is supply and demand. If it is scarce, you can charge more, but all these come from a balance, and the balance is often found in what I call the self-regulating mechanisms in society of faith, family, and community. When you live in a community and part of a family and profess a moral code, it gives you the elements to determine price and what is a just price, and helps you, in that regard. And today what we've had is those elements are taken out, and a person has to compete with the world. It's if you're making something, you have to compete with China or wherever or all over the world. It's just really not a fair playing field.
John, if you are okay with phone calls, I'll take one. Are you okay with phone calls? Okay. John Horvat, again, is our guest. The book is called Return to Order. Good morning. Thank you for calling.
Yes, how you doing? I'm enjoying the segment this morning.
Thank you.
And I like everything Alex saying and y'all are saying. It goes back what the Bible says, love thy neighbor as thyself. If we can get back to the basics and to care for one another as Christ cared for us, and I think things will kind of turn around. Things are going to happen. Changes are coming, but still, if we can get back to the basics of moral values and, like I say, not trying to take from everyone and just give ourselves sometimes. I think it'd be a better place.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, thank you for the call. That's a good observation.
It's really the only place we can go, because if we go the other way, it's just going to be much, much worse. We have to return to an order, and that's pretty much the whole point of my book is that when we're in a crisis, the first place we look is toward order. We go back home, we reconnect with community, we reconnect with God. It is sort of the default position for us, and a return to order is a return to that default position.
And again, it's hard to change the world, but I can change my world. But if enough people got on board with the principles you outline in the book, and the principles that are outlined in the Bible as far as how to treat one another and do business with one another, then I guess
definitely no. It's exactly that. I've always maintained it's not history isn't decided by majorities, but by impassioned minorities who influence the majority.
Yeah,
and we have to be part of that impassioned minority to say no. We need to return to order.
Yeah. Let's see. Before we say goodbye, let's get a website. I have a copy of the book, by the way. It's called Return to Order. Call me if you'd like the copy that was sent to us, and the rest of us have to go buy it. Do you have a website, John?
We do. Actually, it's returntoorder.org.
Okay.
Returntoorder.org. And I just wanted to mention, we just put out a paperback edition of the book, and we have some free copies there. If you want to go to the website, you can get a free copy.
All right. Returntoorder.org. John, thank you for being on the air with us again today. Have a great rest of the summer.
It's been great. God bless.
All right. We'll take a break. Be right back.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. All United Continental flights in the U.S. grounded because of computer problems, leaving a lot of passengers waiting for answers.
They simply said they don't know how long it'll take. They have their IT folks working on this as quickly as possible.
He's at LAX. The airline out with a statement apologizing.
Depending on how long this lasts, this could have a significant impact on air travel throughout the day today, not just in LA, but back into Chicago, United's main hub, and across the country. This could be a domino effect that lasts for quite some time.
Fox's Bill Hemmer. A not guilty plea from the illegal immigrant accused of shooting a woman to death on a California pier.
Juan Francisco Lopez Sanchez is being held in jail on $5 million bond following his court appearance on Tuesday. He's charged with first-degree murder in the death of Catherine Steinle.
Fox Radio's Tanya J. Powers. Fox News. We report, you decide.
And now, another golf confessional brought to you by Golfsmith. A man told us that since he'd gotten his new Bushnell Tour X rangefinder at Golfsmith, his game had improved. The dual-display rangefinder was so accurate that his friends were now asking him to give the distances on their shots, too. And he did. Give or take 20 yards. Hurry into Golfsmith and get the season's best equipment, like the new Bushnell Tour X rangefinder. Golfsmith. Anything for golf.
Geico applauds your inner happy camper.
A merit badge of awesomeness goes out to the part of you that wants to put the recreation in recreational vehicle. The part of you that packs up everything and everybody in the RV and says, let's get this show on the road. Because Geico has specialized agents who help save money on more than just car insurance. Geico will insure that entire RV, so you can get the s'more making, poison ivy dodging, same song singing, ghost storytelling, campfire building, best time you ever had with your family show on the road.
Geico for your RV. See how much you could save.
Today in Florida Ag News on the Southeast AgNet, while passage of TPA was a huge win for agriculture, there's still much left to do before Congress breaks again for its summer recess. Various reauthorizations and fiscal year 16 spending bills also remain, as does possible repeal of mandatory country of origin meat labeling. American Farm Bureau Executive Director Dale Moore says at the top of that list is preventing retaliation by Canada and Mexico.
That they are, I guess, authorized or able to do under this latest ruling on the mandatory country of origin labeling relative to beef and pork. So we're hopeful that we can get that legislation wrapped up before that clock. I think that's what the 60-day clock or so runs out on that. We've got to stop that retaliation.
And there's agriculture and interior spending bills hung up over objections to continued across-the-board cuts known as sequestration, and Interior also is targeting EPA's Waters of the U.S. rule.
It's not quite clear what's going on with ag appropriations. I know that a lot of folks are ready to move forward on that. We've been ready to weigh in where we need to, but that was one of those appropriation measures that got set aside a couple of weeks ago, and so now we're kind of anxious for Congress to get back into town and hopefully give a little bit of a hint as to how they plan to move forward.
There is also livestock mandatory price reporting, the Grain Standards Act, and governing grain inspection and more that the House passed last month, but the Senate must still pass by September 30th.
Did you know that when it comes to grocery shopping for beef, convenience continues to be the key? Through Checkoff-funded market research, we know millennials want cooking shortcuts that are efficient and practical. As a result, Your Beef Checkoff is reaching them through their mobile phones with ideas for creativity, efficiency, and savings. While you're managing your cattle operation, Your Beef Checkoff is helping millennials understand that beef is a smart food choice. Learn and share more at mybeefcheckoff.com, paid for by your checkoff dollar.
Randall Wiseman, Southeast AgNet.
It's the end of the fiscal year, and that means budget cuts and number crunching. Now's the time of the year you're evaluating your expenses, planning your budget, and finding ways to save money and increase efficiency to maximize profits. Dex Imaging understands and delivers. Call Dex Imaging today for a free document management evaluation. Cutting your office expenses is as easy as calling Dex Imaging, 352-266-0333. Start saving money today and increase your bottom line with Dex Imaging. Imaging. Printers, copiers, and fax machines that increase office productivity and save you money. No one understands your bottom line better. Call Dex Imaging today, 352-266-0333, or check them out on the web at deximaging.com. That's DEXimaging.com. Or call 352-266-0333 for your free document management evaluation today.
Need a mailbox rental but need more information? Remember, Personal Service Center, 789-6683. How does $10 a month sound with just a 3-month commitment? Remember, Personal Service Center, 789-6683. Mention WOCA and the setup fee is waived. Personal Service Center will email or text notifications to you when your packages arrive. Even scan mail so you never actually have to pick it up. Now that's service. Personal Service Center, 789-6683. Located on the corner of Northeast 25th Avenue and 24th Street, Ocala. Look for the yellow signs.
La Famiglia Pizzeria has moved into Ocala. Stop by today at 2504 Southeast 17th Street and see for yourself what everyone is talking about.
Awesome place. I never get pizza anywhere else.
Great New York style pizza and dishes.
Best pizza in Ocala.
One trip and you'll agree La Famiglia Pizzeria is the best. La Famiglia Pizzeria. Stop by for a pizza that you'll love or call in and order yours for pickup. 352-245-2419. La Famiglia Pizzeria.
Want to learn more about your furnace or air conditioner? Tune in this Saturday for free tips and expert advice on how to get the most out of your heating and air conditioning system. Or get a free AC rejuvenation by being the first person to go to cleanmyac.com. That's cleanmyac.com. Saturday, free tips and expert advice on how to get the most out of your heating and air conditioning system. Or get a free AC rejuvenation by being the first person to go to cleanmyac.com.